We now come to Shadow Secretary of State Luke Pollard with the first of 2 questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The public do not want our British farmers undercut by food produced to lower standards abroad. Research by Which, published today, shows that 8 out of 10 people are worried that trade deals will risk our high animal welfare standards. With the NFU petition now on 1 million names, it's clear the Minister's on the wrong side of the argument here. So can I ask the Environment Secretary if he needs any more help convincing the International Trade Secretary to put the Conservative manifesto promise in law?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the International Trade Secretary and I are both absolutely committed to delivering our manifesto commitments. But we also have a manifesto commitment to expand the number of free trade agreements that we have. And it is also the case that the UK farming industry has offensive interests, particularly in dairy, particularly in meats such as pork and lamb and beef in other countries, particularly Asian markets. So we want to expand the number of free trade agreements that we have to create opportunities for our industry, but also protect our standards, and that is exactly what we'll do.
Luke Pollard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think we all know that the DEFRA team opposite are part of the 8 out of 10 worried about animal welfare and trade agreements here. But can I press the Secretary of State on a slightly different issue relating to food standards, and that's around the outbreaks of COVID-19 in food processing plants across the United Kingdom. This is serious. Any outbreak needs to be contained. Food standards matter, and the standards of the people that work in those plants also matter. What assessments has the Environment Secretary made about whether meat processing plants and food factories are especially at risk? And what assessment has he made about the low level of statutory sick pay that's forcing many people to work in those plants instead of staying at home because they simply won't earn enough money to pay the bills if they do so?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to pay tribute to all those working in our food sector, including manufacturing, who have worked very hard to keep food on our plates during these very difficult times. The honourable gentleman makes an important point. We have had now 3 outbreaks linked to meat plants. These have been picked up through the testing and tracing approach that's been adopted, and we are reviewing the guidance. We suspect that these outbreaks might have been linked either to canteens or potentially to car sharing arrangements in those plants, and we will be revising guidance to ensure that businesses have the approach that they need to prevent further outbreaks in future.